Hello everybody, I'm Tom Wambik from the International Training Center of the International Labour Organization and part of the UN e-learning planning committee. It's also part of one of the moderators of these knowledge sessions which will take place this week. And I thought before we start the chat discussion this afternoon, I would like to highlight some more of the questions which we can deal with during this session. As you know, the title of the session is the pedagogical potential of blogging for knowledge sharing and staff development, and in this way I would like to raise a number of topics, questions that we can deal with. But before that, as you know, our internet environment has been changing enormously in the last 10 years, where we came from a rather static web 1.0 environment, where when we started in 95-96 with consulting the internet, we were mainly reading static HTML pages in a very one-directional way. The only people who contributed to these websites were IT people who knew HTML. This changed enormously. In the last 10 years we were able to actually also to contribute without being an IT specialist. We could actually contribute in the community of blogs, of forums, of wikis and so on. So there was not only this one direction, but there were two directions. Instead of just passively reading, we were also actively contributing, actively interacting and actively communicating with the community, which was much bigger than 10 years ago. We speak of more than 1 billion global users nowadays, and that phenomenon of user-generated content, collective intelligence, wisdom of the crowd got translated in a series of applications, going from blogs, which we will deal today from wikis, Wikipedia the most known example, and a bunch of other tools and applications which may be useful in the discussions that we are going to have. As I already told you, this is not an IT discussion. Also, Web 2.0 is not really an IT discussion. It could have been, but mainly where we concentrate on is the web of bringing together a community of people. That Web 2.0 is actually bringing people together and not so much technology in se. So this is another important emphasis for this afternoon that I would like to highlight. As you know, the Web 2 tools started with actually a trio which we could summarize as discussion forums, which we all are familiar with. We have the blogs, the weblogs as a second example, and last but not least the wikis. Apart from this triangle, we have much more applications going from social networking towards social bookmarking and so on, but this afternoon we will only concentrate on one specific tool, which is blogging, and more educational blogging. But that is an important addendum, because we have to ask, okay, blogs, they started as personal journals, but we are all working in a learning and in a training context, and what we fundamentally have to ask is, do these new technologies, blogs in this case, have actually anything to offer us in improving the way we learn, train? Do they improve the pedagogy that we do? What is the added value for not only for staff development, but also for knowledge sharing and maybe some other objectives that you might have? What I would like to do this afternoon is not just talk about blogs in general, and this is one of a possible classification of blogs that you can use in learning and training, and you see that there are a lot of different dimensions. In our exhibit of the International Training Center, we used a blog for knowledge sharing among practitioners that use learning and training in a daily practice. But you see that blogs can be used for much more functionalities than just an online journal. They can be used for knowledge sharing, they can be used for discipline-specific matters as a professional community of practice that wants to network and to stimulate knowledge sharing. They can be used as a knowledge base for instructional tips for your participants. They can be used for a personal reflective journal that you have based on a project that you can doing. So there's quite a variety of different uses that the blogs can be classified. So there is one question that I would like to deal with. A second question that I would be deal with is like, what are the advantages and what are the possible strengths? So maybe we can do a small SWOT analysis of the use of blogs in learning and training. That is a second important question that I would like to address. Also, for people who would like to start with blogs in their learning and training, maybe we can share some experiences on that. What kind of software have you been used? Did you use the main software, which is nowadays WordPress, which is Blogger, which was adopted by Google, or the other softwares that you have been using, maybe integrated into the learning management system that you already have? So these are some questions that I would like to introduce before we immediately go towards the chat session. I will just moderate the session, highlight some of the points you are taking, making a summary of the different points that you are putting in, and also try to provide you as much as possible concrete links that might help you in your organization in setting up a block for whatever objective you have in mind. So thank you, and let's hope we meet online this afternoon. Goodbye.